Have you ever felt like your attention span is getting worse and worse? Research suggests our attention spans are shrinking, with some studies claiming they've dwindled to mere 8 seconds. That's barely longer than the attention span of a goldfish. I'm not stranger to this struggle. I love learning new things, coding and creating videos. But recently, I found myself struggling to focus. Whenever I sat down to code or learn Italian vocabulary, I'd end up scrolling through social media instead. This led to small burnouts and I felt like I was getting nowhere. Something had to change. I started by experimenting with different strategies to regain my focus. I followed the usual internet advice: productivity apps, adjusting my sleep schedule, the works. They were helpful to an extent, but surprisingly, they didn't address my root problem. Don't get me wrong, sleep is essential, but when you're already clocking 8 hours a night, tweaking your sleep schedule might not be the magic bullet. To transform my 8-hour workday into a focused 3-hour sprint, I implemented 3 small but impactful changes. First and foremost, I ditched multitasking and embraced single tasking. Multitasking is a myth. Our brains aren't wired for it. Constantly switching between tasks drains our energy and hinders our ability to focus deeply on any one thing. Next up, I banished my phone from my workspace. Sure, airplane mode helps, but let's be honest, there is always an excuse to turn it off. And even offline, those tempting games are just a tap away. But strangely enough, even without my phone, distractions still lurked. That's when I took a good hard look at my desk. It was a treasure trove of diversions. The book I'd been meaning to finish, a Rubik's Cube begging to be solved, even a blank piece of paper tempting me with doodles. I realized that to truly focus, I need a clean, minimalistic workspace. Of course, only Tibetan monks can control themselves to keep the surroundings that minimalistic and stay there for long hours. There is one caveat to my setup. I do really short working phases, like 25 minutes or so. Then I escape this sterile environment for a short break. Believe it or not, this is the only way I can keep my focus at the maxed level and avoid burnout. Having short, focused work sessions divided by even shorter breaks, along with single tasking and clean workspace, is my solution to regaining focus and battling a short attention span. I highly recommend experimenting to see if this setup works for you too. If you're curious about how to effectively structure your work and breaks, check out this video on the Pomodoro technique.